So we just finished our annual fasting and prayer and sacrifice, and it was an amazing time. And I mean, those of us that were online last Friday, it's just a week now. I mean, I remember last Friday, by this time we were still at the altar and praying and burning incense and doing all of these things. And I'm excited about the year that we just entered in, and I know it's going to be an awesome year and this year. But quickly, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that made the fasting possible, everybody that was part of the fasting, was a part of the prayers, and also every single person that made the sacrifice possible. Listen, you guys did amazing, especially those that really helped make the sacrifice possible. And the testimonies keep coming in, and the experiences were top notch, and a lot of people were saying a lot of things that some of them, when you hear them, you go like, not that I don't know, but I mean, when they are telling their stories, you listen to them and you go like, I'm glad you experienced that. I'm really glad you experienced that, because if you didn't experience that, then you wouldn't know the magnitude of what we did last Friday. So I'm super excited, and I want to thank every single person that made it possible. Every single person. Listen, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for making this year's sacrifice possible. I know next year is going to be big. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm excited for it. The reason why I know is because I know the things that are about to happen to your life, and you wouldn't be forced to want to sacrifice again, because you will definitely testify of the goodness that is yet about to come your way this year. I'm excited, but wait for it. You will certainly testify of the goodness that is about to flood your life. Aquaba. I'm excited to come here. It's been a minute. Listen, oh wow, it's really been a minute since we had a Spirit Friday, and you know, the fasting and prayer was so intense. So doubling it with the Spirit Friday was a lot to take in, and I'm excited that I get to come your way again. Listen, I'm even more excited with what is about to come. But before I go into what I have today, I'm not going to do a long video. I know most of you will probably be watching it on the Saturday instead of the Spirit Friday. It's still the Spirit Friday, but I'm shooting this pretty late, and I know some of you will be watching it on the Saturday or Saturday morning. But before I go into today's video, it's going to be a short one, but I just want to you remember the video I did about the Chinaman that is being crowned developmental chief in Ghana? Listen, I love my Ghanaians. I love my Ghana people. Listen, I was telling somebody behind scenes that Ghanaians, you see us and we're really nice. We're really nice people. We're really loving people. We accommodate a lot. We don't fight. We don't disrespect. We take everything in. But one thing you don't want to do to a Ghanaian though is to step on their toes really bad. You can step on their toes lightly and they'll forgive you for it. But when you deliberately do something that, listen, they're gonna come for you. And that is exactly what has happened to this Chinaman who was crowned the developmental chief around Kwewu areas, the Kwewu district. And listen, in the district didn't play at all. Listen, Now the Chinaman says, I cannot do this. I came in for it, but I cannot do this. I take off this crown. I'm not interested. I don't want to have anything to do with it. This is Ghana for you, man. This made my people proud. And you spoke about it. I spoke about it. Everybody spoke about it. I think Wudimaya did a great job. So we want to applaud Wudimaya for the great one he did. He actually went to the place and tried to chase them up, and nobody would want to grant him an interview. So listen, well done, guys. Everybody that said a word, commented, said anything. This is Ghana. We are nice, but we don't play. You get it? So sometimes people might take your niceness for weakness, but listen, don't play with Ghanaians like that. And I'm proud of the youth of Kowu that stood up and ensured that this craziness wouldn't continue in that district. So I applaud everybody that fought back, everybody that said this is not happening in our nation. Sorry, this is not happening in our land. Everybody that made this possible, listen, well done. I applaud you. And I just want to say congratulations for every single person that devoted their time to speak about this. Listen, I love you guys. You've done an amazing thing. For the fact that he had to revoke whatever was given to him is an amazing feeling. And these are the moments that you're proud being associated with the nation Ghana. So yes, we no longer have any Chinaman as king in our land. That's amazing. Today I want to talk about something really simple, and I'm going to go a step further into it. I've taught on the various levels of prayer. I've talked about invocation. I've talked about thanksgiving, appreciative, having a spirit of gratitude. I've talked about libations, having drink offerings. I've spoken about sacrifices as well. And I told you sacrifice is the highest form of prayer. Sacrifice is the highest form of prayer. Now, a lot of people, I had a conversation with somebody and the person was telling me, listen, you're not the only person that do sacrifices. I do sacrifices too. I do that in my church all the time. I'm always giving my tithe. And I'm like, y'all get it confused. Sacrifice has nothing to do with your tithe. Sacrifice has nothing to do with the tithes that you give to the church. Sacrifice has nothing to do with the offerings that you give. Sacrifice is simply a sacrifice, a life for a life. When we talk about sacrifice, you move from materiality to life. If what is on your altar for the sacrifice is not life, then it's not a sacrifice. So all the times when you send money in an envelope, you give it to the pastor, you say, this is my sacrifice, I'm paying. That wasn't a sacrifice. That was you giving money to the pastor. And there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to bless your pastor, that is okay. But I just want to make it clear to you, that is not a sacrifice. A sacrifice is literally when you lay a life on an altar. And life can come in so many forms, not necessarily animals. But of course, you don't put your money on the altar to burn it up. So when we talk about sacrifice, it has nothing to do with money. Everybody wants money. If you give me money, I'll take it. But when it comes to sacrifice, it's not money that is going to any man. A sacrifice is something that you offer to someone that is of a higher dimension than you are. So sacrifice is a tool that assists you to move into realms that usually you wouldn't have the privilege to get to. So a sacrifice is just a platform that you step on to communicate with the highest power. Sacrifice, listen, we just finished our sacrifice, and when I talk about money, it's not like people didn't send in money. But what did they use? What did they send in the money for? They sent in the money so that we can purchase the stuff for the sacrifice. They were not sending me money to keep it. If your sacrifice has always been money going to the church and going to the... You have been doing sacrifices the wrong way. And I know a lot of Christians will come out and say, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're saying. And you need the Spirit to help you understand, to help you have deeper. Listen, I don't know how a lot of Christians that have given money. I know a lot of Christians give money, and don't get me wrong, I'm probably not the only person, but I'm just trying to say, I've been there and I gave. I gave money. Giving money to church or your church doesn't bring you money. I'm being honest. A sacrifice is not that which you do because you are looking for money. A sacrifice is not something you do because you are looking for a shortcut to get money. No, money is not real. It's just some figures printed on a paper, and the perception is that that paper is valued to the equivalent of the numbers that you have on the paper. But it's not real. So you cannot be in a sacrifice hoping to get material, something material out of it. So once you are doing a sacrifice for money, then you are doing it the wrong way. Once you're doing a sacrifice, saying, okay, I want this sacrifice to, you are doing it the wrong way. Sacrifice is not about money. A sacrifice is not about material gains. This is the reason why you've given so much money to the church and seen very little. If you want to give money to anything to make money back, look for an investment and go and give that money too. I'm telling you, that investment will give you more money than giving the money to the church, thinking the church is going to multiply. No. The powers that be do not multiply money. Investments multiply your money because it is in this material state and it is in this perception. So when you put money into where it is designed to multiply money, it will come. But money has no life. Sacrifice only connects to that which has life. Sacrifice does not connect to that which has no life. So you don't offer up a sacrifice because you want to make money. No. That is the wrong approach. That is the wrong way. You're doing it wrong if this is your whole intention of offering up a sacrifice. When we talk about a sacrifice, a life has to represent you. A life has to be in your stead. You have to make provision for a life to speak on your behalf. That is what we call a sacrifice. I don't care what religion you find yourself. When you go through every series of religious texts, the only thing you would find when it comes to sacrifice is a life representing. It's a life being an intermediary between two people having a negotiation. So once you want to talk about the subject of sacrifice, money doesn't come in. If you have the animals and the food stuff and all what have you, then you can just present those things as a sacrifice. Or you can go and buy them and present them as a sacrifice. And hence, that is what we did. People sent in money. We used them to buy the necessary things that we need and offer up our sacrifices, which we do every week. When you want to talk about sacrifice, you should always remember it's a life for a life. You cannot use a dead thing to offer up a sacrifice. Once the thing is dead, it cannot be a sacrifice. You don't pay a sacrifice to a human being. They are offerings, they are gifts, they are donations, they are what have you. But when you come to the subject of a sacrifice, it is always a life representing. Listen, the reason why you are not seeing much, and don't tell me, oh, you have no idea. Maybe it just didn't work for you. Come to my church. Listen, your church, when we put your church to a percentage, I'm telling you, you'll only get about 5% that are actually doing well. I mean, really, really doing well. most of the people in the church are all hand to mouth. I was there. I used to be that guy. It's only 5%. And I'm telling you, the 5% that are really doing very well in the church, don't pray like you pray. Don't take my word for it. Go to your churches. The 5% that are doing very well financially are not in the church room every day like you are. They don't spend as much time in your churches like you do. They don't pray like you do. They don't study the scriptures like you do. Because they were what? They are invested. They want to see money multiply. Nobody multiplies money spending a whole day in prayer. No. Nobody does that. So, if you want to multiply your money, there are things that you have to do. But if you want to go higher in the dimensions, that is where a sacrifice comes in. As a platform, as a tool that you use to launch yourself into deeper realms. Now, once you are launched into deeper realms, the rest would follow. Like the popular saying, follow seek ye the kingdom of God and its righteousness and all things. So a sacrifice is a kind of seeking the kingdom. Seeking, knocking on doors, knocking on dimensions, opening realms. That is what a sacrifice does. A sacrifice is not putting money in your bank account. No, a sacrifice is opening realms. Once those realms are open for you and you enter into those realms, everything else adds up. Everything else adds up. So if you have been giving and pumping money in the church thinking your money is going to multiply, you're doing it the wrong way. If you want to multiply your money, there are some, contact me. I'll give you a link to somebody that can multiply your money for you. But if you want to offer up a sacrifice, that is a whole different conversation. What are some of the things we can use for sacrifice? Definitely not your money. You can use oil for sacrifice. You can use incense for sacrifice. Because it's a combination of herbs. I like. You can use drinks, diverse drinks for sacrifice. You can use animal for sacrifice. These are the things you can use for sacrifice. Of course, the animals include the birds and the beast and all of that. Sacrifice has nothing to do with money. The more money you put in the church, the more money somebody is making out of you. The more you offer up your sacrifice, the more you get elevated into dimensions. The more you have experiences that you've never thought possible. So I just want to take a little time, and I think I'm going to talk more into sacrifices and what you need to do and how it is done. I'm going to spend more time in it. But listen, once you begin to follow the path of a sacrifice, don't stop. Once you start on this path, don't stop. It's the consistency. It's the commitment that reveals that which nothing else can get you. So once you start on a path of sacrifices, you need to mark certain datings. You need to remember when you offered up your first sacrifice, and you need to return the same period. The in-between sacrifices are there. Like I said, I offer up sacrifices every week. That is the secret in enjoying what sacrifice is all about. But one thing I can tell you for free, sacrifice is not money. You can use your money to get the things that you need for your sacrifice, but you cannot sacrifice money. Because whatever you intend to sacrifice needs to have a level of life in it. Whatever it is you want to sacrifice. needs to have life in it. So I just wanted to break this down for you to understand. If you have been giving money in the church all these years and haven't seen anything in return to your pocket, you've been doing it wrong. Giving money to the church is not going to multiply your money. Giving money to the investor, I said, contact me, I'll give you a name to somebody who can multiply your money. Giving money to an investor will multiply your money. If you want to access certain doors and dimensions, now we can talk sacrifice. Because sacrifice is that which can elevate you into these realms, not your money. Have a great time. I love you guys. Listen, I absolutely love you. Don't forget, sacrifice is not money. Sacrifice is you offering up a life to intermediate between you and whichever power you're having a conversation with. Stay blessed. I love you guys. I'll see you same time next week on Spirit Friday.